a lava puzzle. As they enter the room, the Drow NPC, who travels with the party through most of the dungeon, takes the key and then waits for their instructions. And there's a riddle or clue on the wall, and it's an audio puzzle. They have to listen to, there are horns, there are bells, and there are drum beats, and they have to count a certain number of drum beats. And what they have to do is, in the middle of the room is a pool of lava with stones in the lava with different runes or symbols on them. And to get through the exit to the next room, the riddle tells them they have to touch certain runes on an archway to exit the room. And when they are doing the puzzle, they end up stepping on different rune stones in the lava. The stones are safe to step on. The riddle tells them to count the drum beats and step first clockwise a certain number of drum beats, then they turn around and go counterclockwise, notice which runes they're on, then they turn around again, and the drow who is with them carrying the key, which is supposed to unlock the portal, if they notice which stones she is on, they touch those runes in order on the archway, and that's how they get entrance into the next room. Room 2 is the Stone Guardian. As they enter the room, the drow tells them that they have to search the room while her superior senses fail to detect the formation of a stone guardian behind her. And then it is a straightforward combat, with the one exception, since it is an elemental, it has certain immunities, like it can't be hit with a critical hit, and it can't be sneak attacked by the rogue unless they have certain tokens. Room 3, the Stone Tile Room. When they enter the room, there are, I believe, 13 pedestals, and each pedestal has a square tile on it, a large square tile, and each tile has a certain kind of design. Some of them look like arrows, some of them look like Z's, or a circle, and what they have to do is figure out how there's no archway in this room, there's just a solid stone wall. And the riddle or clue basically tells them that they have to tell the rock what to do, what they need to do. If they have a rogue and they get the clue from the rogue box, it tells them that they can look for the clue backwards and forwards, or the solution backwards and forwards, and that leads people to know it's a palindrome. And then they have to spell out, using all the tiles are not actually shapes or arrows, they're letters. So for instance, the ones that look like an arrow could actually be an E or a T. The one that looks like a box is an O. And when you spell out the solution, it spells out O stone, B not so, which is a palindrome, backwards and forwards. Room 4 is a room where there is a difference between combat and puzzle. Room 4 combat, they enter the room and there is what we call a lava lurker there with a glob of lava to throw at everybody. His power is that he can, when he first appears, the party comes in, he disappears by jumping into a river of lava. But there are also 2 pools of lava, and he can basically pass between the different 2 pools and the lava river and go back and forth. And when he pops up, he can attack anybody in the room with his glob of lava, but only the people who are standing at that particular place, either the river or one of the 2 pools, can attack him. So the party has to decide how they are going to split themselves up to try to do as much damage as possible when he shows up in their section. Only the players at that section can influence him in any way. Other players at other sections can do things like cast buff spells or healing spells, but they can't attack the creature. On the puzzle side, we have a number of lighted rods with a glowing gem on each end. And when they come in, one of them is fixed at the end. There are, I believe, 9 others that they can take and move. And basically the clue tells them that when they put them down, you can't have matching gems of matching colors next to each other. So it's a puzzle that has a number of different solutions. The trick is, if the drow senses that they're using a different solution than what she's expecting, she will take one of the rods and put it into position and force them to solve the puzzle using that particular solution. But it's been very doable. Room 5 is the shield table. When they come in, they notice a number of shields, blank white shields lining the walls. 10 blank white shields on the walls, lining the 2 walls as they enter. The drow tells them that she's sure that they are inconsequential and just decorative, but when they go in, there's a clue, and eventually they figure out they have to take the shields. There's a big round table divided into 10 sections, so each section fits one of the shields. They put it on the table, and originally the idea was, at the start, every so often a black light would come on, and on one side of the shield there were letters. Eventually, especially on the puzzle side, the letters were very difficult to read, so they left the black light on all the time. When they place the shields in the proper order, it spells out directions to tell them what rune symbols they need to touch on the archway to get access to the next room. Room 6, the drow NPC who has been leading the party the whole time, scouts ahead, and when the party follows her, they find out that she has actually transformed into a Spydar rather, half dark elf, half giant spider. And she tells them that she is not actually a drow, but she is a priestess serving Queen Iblix, and she is going to destroy them. And because she is, or he, is part spider, it can crawl on the walls and it crawls on the ceiling, and so they have to use ranged weapons to attack it, or spells. And then it casts spells at the party. So that's a little bit something different in the combat. When she rolls to hit, instead of having to hit a certain AC, armor class, she only has to reach a certain number because it's a spell. 15 for normal, 14 for hardcore, and only 13 for nightmare. And she casts rays of shock or fire or cold or sonic. She can also cast a spell, Lesser Maze, to remove one of the players from combat for a round, but I haven't seen her use that particular spell yet. Okay, room 7 is another one where there's a difference between combat and puzzle. In combat, they are fighting a lava beast. A giant lava beast rises from behind the wall and attacks the party. It's another elemental creature like the lava lurker, but because this one is so huge, when it attacks, it can not only does fire damage, it tries to grab onto the player and grapple them, and does grapple damage as well, which if they have free action, they're immune to that, but they would still take the fire damage. But because it is so huge, if they roll a 20, they actually swallow the player that they're attacking. And then the player takes acid damage from inside. Now, the player can prevent that by making a reflex save, or once he or she is inside the creature, they can make a reflex save to jump back out. One other thing I didn't mention about the lava lurker also applies to the lava beast. If they hit it with a melee weapon, the melee weapon becomes superheated and does fire damage simply from holding the weapon every round. If the weapon is cold based or does cold damage, then it's immune to that effect. Then on the puzzle side, they enter the room and there is a variety of weapons hanging on the walls. And the clue tells them to arrange the weapons from least to greatest. And there is a wand in the middle. And if they arrange the weapons in the proper order, the wand will become charged. They point the wand at the archway, and if they are successful, the archway will open and they have succeeded. If they are unsuccessful, the person holding it gets sucked into the wand, never to be seen again. The solution to the puzzle, when they talk about least to greatest, is based on the name of the weapon. So the first one would be the axe, only 3 letters. The last of the puzzle is the quarterstaff, 12 letters. The challenge is to figure out what the names of the different weapons are and put them in the proper order based on the number of letters. And that's it.